This video is going to be a little bit different today. I'm going to be talking about how to build a successful team as someone who is doing 7 figures a year or more, or as a company who is aspiring to do 7 figures and you're having a hard time finding the right people and building the right team to support this beautiful machine that you're building. We all know that hiring and delegating are the two hardest things to do in business. As someone who's been in business now for over 10 years, I've had teams of 12, I've had teams of 3. I haven't had the biggest team, right? But I have a lot of experience with hiring, firing, delegating, and all the things in between. I'm going to share with you a lot of different perspectives. I actually wrote it out. I've got some notes here because I had a really cool conversation today with my girl, Blair Richards, aka Emily. And she was like, Lo, I need you to film this video. I need you to tell me how to run a team. She's someone who has done millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, millions of dollars as an entrepreneur, is incredibly successful. And I was like, you know what? Let me go back to my villa. Let me film this video for you. And hopefully it helps some of you guys as well who are looking to expand your team and to build a successful team where you build a business that energetically feels right. Your team's inspired, you're making the money that you want to make in an environment that is allowing everyone to thrive. So I wrote a bunch of cliff notes on the things that have helped me be successful over the years and some lessons that I had to learn the hard way that hopefully you don't have to learn. And some of the things that have been really successful for me that I've implemented that should help you in your process. All right, so first things first. Smaller of better is better than bigger of okay. Okay, so smaller of better is better than better of okay. I had a team of 12 people at one point, which sounded cool in theory. At times my team does get bigger, but I recently got rid of about half of my team and really trimmed down the team, which was hard to do, but it was something that was really important to do. Because what you want to make sure you have on a really great team is a small team of better people. Sometimes we think having more is better, and it's not. Having better of better is great, and sometimes that can be a small number. So I have loved, now that I've been in business for so long, I've really loved a team of 5 to 6, really great superstars. So this is the first point, okay? More of shit is not great. More of shit is bad. More of good is amazing. So find really great people. A small team will get you a long way, especially as a company who wants to be doing, a few million a year. You actually don't need very many people. And it depends on the industry that you're in. But especially in the coaching and consulting space, honestly, you can make several million a year with 2 people. You might be stretching yourself. You might be like, okay, I'm a little bit exhausted and now we need to offset some of the coaching or the facilitation to someone else, which is where we start to expand to 3 or 4 people. But you can have a 3-4 person team and be making millions of dollars successfully. Okay. So just want to put that in your ear. That's the first point. Next point, culture is everything when it comes to building a great team. Okay. And culture starts with you as the business owner. I think that some of us get so caught up in trying to make more money, create new offers, focus on the marketing, focus on, trying to problem solve, micromanaging as a CEO. We start stepping in and doing shit that we shouldn't be doing. Your culture is what's going to set the expectation for everything. Okay. So one of the notes I have here is at some point you're going to have to let go. That's just the reality. If you want to keep growing and expanding, you have to let go. You're only one person. So put your pride to the side and just accept that as your fate. Okay. Second thing is delegating is hard. We know this because delegating is only successfully done when something is SOP'd, meaning that there's an actual process in place that someone can take that you've done and they can implement it themselves. If you have not yet built out SOPs, and not that you need, some business owners have 45 pages of SOPs and don't even utilize it. It's not even efficient. You don't even fucking need that. You don't even need a Google Doc, okay? You need a simple system. It could be a video, a couple-minute video. It could be one doc where you just lay out how something is set up, how something is done correctly, and pass it off to someone else. Because what you really want to do when you're hiring is create thought leaders. You don't want to create a bunch of minions and task rabbits who just can read from an SOP or just follow everything you say and can regurgitate it. You want thought leaders. You want people who can take what you've built as a foundation and can build on it and expound on that thing versus just like copying the shit that you've done. So yes, delegating is hard, but it's more important about who you're hiring for these roles and people who can come in and add versus like you just, telling them exactly what to do. You can only do this though successfully if you've SOP things. So if you are a mess and you have nothing organized, sit down and really think about like the systems that are in place, the process you go through to create these things, right? Like if you are using posting as an example, simple SOP for this, if you post 3 times a day every day and you post at 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. and you prepare all that content the day before so it's ready to get posted, so everything is just set up, or you schedule it. All you do when we talk about creating an SOP is just writing that out or explaining it in the form of a video. And then any person you hire can like take that system and utilize it. And then hopefully, again, they're thought leaders. They're not just task rabbits. They can like sit down and think for themselves, well, is this the most efficient way, or can we be more efficient with this? What could we do to really level up this SOP? And then now you're really cooking. Another point to culture is your goal as a CEO, and this is like my perspective, okay? This isn't everyone's perspective. This is Low Silver's perspective. It is to teach, it's to lead, it's to celebrate, and it's to create space for people to self-critique. When I say teach, majority of the time I spend right now is teaching my team certain things. Like I have one-on-ones with my team once a week, every single week with each of my individual members. And we spend time just thinking on their position, thinking on their skill deficit, thinking about what they can be doing better. And me coming in as a CEO and either providing that value if I know it, supporting them by helping them find the right people to help them with that. Or maybe they go out themselves and find that person to get better at their role. So like teaching is a big thing that I spend most of my time as a 7-figure business owner that I do now. It's no longer editing content. It's no longer doing what I call certain $10 jobs, like setting my schedule and organizing client chats and moderating client conversations and building landing pages and setting up automations. Like I'm not doing that sort of stuff anymore. I'm leading my team. I'm teaching my team. So teaching is a big part of my time. And it's not that I have more time back, which I actually do, but it's not that I'm like, I'm not working at all. Instead of my time being in client facilitation or in building out things or editing things, my time is just shifted over to teaching my team. The second one I said was leading. Okay. So when I say leading, as a CEO, you're leading by example. How you show up is how your team is going to show up. So really leading your team and also creating the expectation, right? The future of what you guys are doing and the vision of where you're going. When you're leading, you're showing everyone the picture and you're painting it for them clearly so they know the direction that the team is heading towards and as a unit where we're collectively going. It's important you do this because some people are just flying by the seat of their pants. Their team is working in the day-to-day on the stuff that they know they have to do, but what ends up happening is people get uninspired because there's no vision. It's like, it just feels like we're just pumping out stuff, pushing out stuff, doing stuff, executing stuff without really clearly knowing like, okay, but what's the point of all this? Like, where are we going? What's the goal? So leading is a big part of this. Celebrating, which when you're in business and you're the CEO and you're putting out fires and you're tired and, you're trying to figure stuff out and you're stressed out and overwhelmed, you forget to celebrate people. You forget to celebrate yourself. You forget to celebrate the little wins. And over time, people again will start feeling like, okay, I'm not doing good enough. I'm not doing well enough. I'm not being seen. And a big part of building culture is making your team feel valued and feel seen in this way. So simple things that I do to celebrate my team is I will send my team coffee, right? I have all their coffee orders or hot chocolate. Megan doesn't drink coffee. She likes hot chocolate. So we send our team coffee once or twice a month. I will send that to them because we're all remote. I will, when we have our one-on-ones, we'll talk to them about some like individual things that they like. I will send them books. I will send them little gifts and treats based off conversations that we've had where they know I'm really paying attention. I'm really listening. And those things go a long way. It's really celebrating people. I will publicly praise people. So we have a call once a week where we incorporate culture. The first 15 minutes of the call Everyone meets. We're all on the same call, and we have to do a little private, like public, like a private win for ourselves. So you have to share a win. It could be personal. It could be about the business. It could be whatever. And then we also will share a shout out for someone on the team, something that someone on the team has been, doing that's really helped them, or something that someone has just, they've just been doing a really great job and you want to like shout them out. So we'll do a win, a personal win, and we will do a public shout out so everyone knows how great someone's doing. So everyone on the team will go. And once you've done your personal win and your shout out, you'll pass it to the next person and they'll go. So finding moments to celebrate people and like actually SOPing celebrating your team is important. At some point it becomes a habit. But when I was first starting a business, I wasn't praising people enough. I didn't think that they needed that. I thought that paying them a salary was just enough. No. Sending the coffee, sending the little treats, writing them little notes, sending them little voice memos, like when they've done a really great job with something, publicly praising them in front of the team. These are ways to celebrate your team, and it goes a long way. And then the last part of this is just creating a space to self-critique. So when I say building culture, on our team, we have a policy. It's a no blame policy, meaning like you literally cannot send myself a message or anyone on the team or in a public environment blame someone else for something. You can't be like, well, this didn't work because Tiffany didn't do blah, 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 blah. Like, we don't do that. In our team, it's like full accountability. What is something I could have done? It's like self-reflection first. And then as a team, we also want to find the stopping points from a very unemotional standpoint. What happened? Where did it happen? And how do we fix it? This way, no one on the team ever feels like something is their fault. They're willing to take accountability. Okay? Because fault comes with judgment. It comes with shame. It comes with guilt. Whereas like as a team, if we can figure out the stopping point, it comes with self-accountability. It comes with wanting to take responsibility. It comes with taking action. So those are like more positive, I feel like, emotions and actions behind critique versus like some of the more negative ones around judgment and shame and guilt and blame and all that sort of stuff. So what I do with my team right now is every other week I have a 15-minute one-on-one with every single person on my team. Right now it's only, like I said, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 people right now. And I have a one-on-one with each of them. 7, I think, including me. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so like 7 people. And I will meet with them for 15 minutes every other week. And in that 15-minute period of time, we have a meeting. In that meeting, we have 3 questions that I ask every person, and we do this on every single meeting. The first one is, what is something that was a really big positive for you this week? Something you feel like you crushed, something that you're like really excited about, inspired by, something that you're super happy about. They'll give us that. And usually it'll be a personal one and a business one. So like a personal big positive for them and then a big business positive. The second thing that we will run through will be something that they feel like maybe they dropped the ball on, something that maybe they feel like, maybe they didn't drop the ball, but like they just feel like they didn't do a great job at, they feel like they could have done better at. So this would be the self-critique. And then the third one would be something that I can do that would help to make their job easier, better, maybe a blind spot I'm not seeing, that they can share with me on that call. So we have those 3 major like topics or questions for this 15-minute call. And so the way it goes is like this. So we get onto the call. I'll say, all right, Jalen, like, what's your positive for this week, man? Like, what did you kill? He'll give me his positive. Then I'm going to give him a positive. So he goes, I go. He goes, I go. So he'll go, Blow, I think I crushed XYZ. And I'm like, amazing, man. And maybe I also like concur with him. So if that was my point, I'll be like, actually, that was my thing too. I think you did a great job at this thing. Other times, if I have a different positive, I'll be like, I really think you did a great job at this. So he'll give himself a positive, and then I come in and give him a positive. The next one is like, all right, like what's something that you feel like you could have done a better job at? And he'll be like, honestly, I think I should have done XYZ. He is telling on himself with me. It's not me like being like, Jalen, I can't believe you did a bad job at XYZ, so on and so forth. I'm like, what's one thing that you feel like you could have done better at this week? He'll tell me what it was, because I've created a safe space. Wow, let's speak English. I have created a safe space for my team to feel like they can tell me where their shortcoming is or where their struggle is, because they know that I'm not going to like put a gun to their head and be like, you listen, motherfucker, like you can't make mistakes. Like they know that when they share this thing with me vulnerably, that I'm going to help them come up with solutions to help them get better or fix that thing or to support them. So he'll tell me what he did wrong or what the struggle was. Usually he covers it. So I don't even have to come in and be like, I think you did a bad job at this. I can't believe that. He'll cover it, and I'll be like, you know what? I see exactly what you're talking about, and I was seeing that too. Let's kind of troubleshoot right now, like what you think we can do to help fix that or to adjust that. And like, boom, there's no conflict because I didn't say he was doing something wrong. He said he was doing something wrong. So that is the second part. And then the third part is a place for him to give feedback to me. I feel like a lot of business owners don't really create enough space for their team to give them feedback about themselves. And so because of that, you have employees who start feeling resentful. They have pent up emotion. They feel, like upset because they aren't able to share their perspectives. They maybe feel held back, whatever. So on this call, they also get a chance to critique me, give me feedback, something that I can help them with to make their job easier, something I haven't seen, something that I could do a better job at. And they can give me that feedback. And it's something that I'll chew on and think about. Doesn't always mean that every time I have a meeting with someone, they give me feedback or something that needs to be changed. I take that and run with it. These are all just things I take into consideration. And as I have all these meetings, then I will look at all the information that was given, take the feedback, and then from there be like, all right, there's a common trend here with this thing. And it's a great way for me to reflect back like what I need to work on. And again, when you have a really great team, majority of the time, like the feedback they're giving you, it's not blame. It's not that you have done something wrong or you're a terrible person. It's just some things like on how the business can be better. And that's the type of culture that my team has established where they know that they can give me feedback. And when they give me this feedback, it's wanted so I can be better as a business owner. So those are just like some simple things that within the culture that I wrote down, I feel like will really help some of you guys create better spaces that are more healthy and less toxic for your team. So those are just all the pieces on culture. I have a bunch of things on this list. I wasn't planning for this video to be this long, but maybe it's about to be like a really long video. I don't know. I'm just going to keep going. Okay. The next one I have over here is character over skill. So when I'm hiring people, I look for character over their ability to do the thing. Like you have to be able to have like a fundamental understanding of the thing that you're supposed to do that I'm hiring you for. But ultimately, like I'm hiring for character. In my team, we can have a list of those character traits of things that I'm looking for. I'll share those with you in a second. But character traits I'm looking for from individuals that would make them qualified for me to hire them versus just a skill. Because you have an asshole on your team and they're just like the worst person ever, but they're like really good at what they do. It's not going to be a long-term relationship. And you're not going to enjoy what you're doing. And most of us who are building businesses, like, yes, we want to make a lot of money, but like this is your life and you want to have fun doing it. You want to build a business you actually enjoy. So I focus on character over skill. Getting into these character traits. I have like a really weird way. I don't want to say weird way of running my business, but in my team, we have no rules. Well, we have one rule. But we run and function the whole team based off of core values. So you probably have heard the Hermosis talk about this. Like Layla has talked a bit about her core values, and that's actually kind of where this stemmed for me. But I kind of take it a step further. I have 3 core values, and I have one rule in my company. So I'm going to share with you my 3 core values, and our whole team operates off of this. Like my team has no schedule. I don't tell them what to do. They can work when they want, how they want. They can schedule their stuff whenever they want to. There's no like rigidity with this in any sort of way because we function on these three core values. Okay, so the first one is speed is king, right? Speed in business is so important. So speed to lead, speed to taking action, speed to fixing things, speed to addressing the problem. Speed is king is our first core value. Our second core value is DWR, or do what's required. So what I mean by this is like if someone comes to me and they're like, hey, I finished this project or I got this thing done, I'll look at them and I'll say, okay, cool. Like, do you think that it's doing exactly what you intended for it to do? Like, what's the result of this thing? The result is to do this. Based off what you've built, do you think that this outcome actually happens? Or do you think that there's more work that needs to be done to like actually make this happen? If they're like, well, if they just even hesitate, like, well, kind of like, nope. Hey, DWR. And you got to go back and work on it until you get to a point where it's just whatever is required for this thing to be done and done correctly needs to be done. And it's not done until everything that's required for it to be done happens. So it's a way to like tell my team, hey, the work's not good enough. Hey, this needs to be better. Hey, I don't like this, without me saying any of those things. I just refer the question back to them by saying, okay, like, what was your intention for this? Oh, my intention for this was this. Do you think that right now with what you've brought, it does that? And if they're like, well, like they'll say, oh, sort of, kind of like, da, 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 da. And I'll say, okay, well, like, do you think you nailed it? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, DWR. And then they'll come back. And then my third core value is collaborative autonomy. So collaborative autonomy is this concept I have in the business where everyone is responsible for their own thing. So I even wrote this down, right? So collaborative autonomy is shared responsibility, meaning just because I'm the business owner doesn't mean that the entire weight of the business falls on my shoulders. It doesn't. If I'm hiring thought leaders, if I'm hiring people who want to become A players, if I'm hiring real thoughtful, intentional entrepreneurs, people who don't just want the employee role, don't just want to be regular, they want to be great, right? Like, we share responsibility. So collaborative autonomy is this idea, and I like to use this a little analogy of like everyone on my team is running a 400. So like let's say like a 4x4. You guys should hopefully know this analogy, but if you don't, a 4x4 is where there are runners who run one 400 and they all have to end up running in totality 4 400s. Once those are complete, then and each runner has run their race, then the race is over. So in my team, everyone is responsible for running a 400. No one else can run your 400 for you. Like only you can run it. Okay? So that's your job. Like whatever your job is your 400. Now, in a 4x4, what makes a team really successful is not just how they run their race, but how they pass on stuff to the next person who has to go run their race. And you do this by passing on the baton. Okay? So you've seen this like viral videos where people drop the baton, it ruins the whole race, or they trip and they fall, or they go to pass it on and it drops, or they go to pass it on, it's in the wrong hand, or they go to pass it on and the person's too far ahead of them or too far behind. It just gets, complicated and weird. You've seen these sort of like memes before. Well, on our team, when you're responsible for running your 400, it's like you have to run your race and you got to pass on the baton. Passing on the baton are the little details like communication and understanding the experience that the next person has when you're handing off the baton. And what's interesting about a 4x4 is if you ever noticed, at some point, both of the runners, the person who just finished their 400 and the next person who's running, they start running in tandem at some point in order to have a successful pass off. Like you can't just, oh, yeah, I'm done my 400 and like toss in the baton and be like, all right, I'm done, I'm good. And then like, that's not on me anymore. Like even if you killed your 400, the beautiful thing about a 4x4 is that even if you had the best race possible, but everyone else around you didn't, your whole team still fails. That's literally business. So on my team, like when I'm talking about passing on the baton, you have to understand how what you're doing is directly impacting the next person. Because when you pass on that baton, you're actually running in stride with someone. You run up to them, you stick your hand out, the other person starts running, you guys now start running a little bit together, and you actually start running in their race just a little bit until you can successfully pass on that baton. Then they get it and they start running their race and then you can stop. But there's like a short period of time here, short yardage here, where you're running together. And it's important that they're not running too fast. It's important that you're not running too fast. It's important that you're passing the baton to the correct hand. It's important that you guys are in sync and in stride so that the pass off can be successful to set them up for their best race, right? Like they need to have their best race, and the only way to do that is to make sure that you did the pass off properly. So I have found that teams have been so successful when they've understood that they have to run their own race, but they're also working in tandem with someone else for the full big picture. So collaborative autonomy is this idea where you are collaborating on a full picture, which is the full 4x4, but you have autonomy in your race and in your run. Like you're responsible for your run and you have to kill it. So if your job is to build out a landing page to get sign-ups for a masterclass, if the button doesn't work for people to book, if the calendar isn't set up correctly, if the copy isn't correct and it's not getting people to convert, like the percentage of people clicking on the page to opting in is 13%. Although, someone else on my team is responsible for taking all the sales calls, or even for myself as someone, if we're doing a masterclass example, and my job is to get onto the masterclass and to give a lot of value, if this landing page is not set up correctly, and we don't get the proper signups, and the person who's responsible for building out this page isn't fully understanding to pass off to me, like, okay, great, like, how does this impact low show rate? How does this impact how many people come to the masterclass? How does this impact how the masterclass goes? And they're just focused on building out a really good landing page. We may have no one show up on the masterclass because they weren't paying attention to the little details and passing on the baton successfully. So you see this across the board with social media marketing. Like, just because you're posting content doesn't mean that you're getting the opt-ins that you want. Just because you built out an automation doesn't mean that it's firing properly and you're getting calls booked to the calendar. Like, you start to see this across the board. So I spent a little bit of time, probably more time than I wanted to, talking about this topic, but I do think it's a really important one because this has been the biggest game changer for me in the last probably year, has been this idea of collaborative autonomy. So those are my 3 core values, okay? Speed is king, DWR, and collaborative autonomy. And my entire team focuses and functions on those 3 things and those three things alone. I'm not going to set your schedule. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to do any of those things. You have autonomy to do what you want, but functioning under those 3 core values. Our only rule is our rule of 3. The rule of 3, it helps to create and pass off more responsibility to my team members instead of to me as a CEO. So the rule of 3 is ask yourself first, which I know sounds really stupid and rhetorical, but it's real. How many of you who are watching this video are like, anytime you have a problem, you actually start talking out loud to yourself. You're like, wait, how do I do this? Which requires you to think, right? So asking yourself first, sometimes you like come up with the answer or solution on your own versus like some people's first reaction for whatever reason is just to call someone or to text someone, hey, I'm having a hard time with this. Like, can you help me with it? Like, take a second and just think first. Okay. Ask yourself. The second thing, there's second step after in the rule of 2 is, the second step in the rule of 2 is research. Okay. So first ask yourself, second thing you're going to do is research. Researching can include the following: Google, YouTube, Claude, ChatGPT, watching recordings, right? Because me and my team, we meet, and when we meet, we record all the calls. So if you want to go back and review, like, oh, like Lo was talking about launching XYZ thing, instead of just messaging the chat, like, hey guys, when is the drop date for this again? Great, go back to the recording. Don't waste other people's time asking them stupid ass questions about dates and times and price points when we already discussed that on a call. So go and do the research. That's at number 2. And then number 3 is ask someone on the team. So if you've exhausted point 1 and point 2, 1, asking yourself, 2, doing the research, which should actually answer 99% of your questions, this is when you're going to refer to someone on the team. In nowhere in this conversation does it say ask Lo as a CEO. Okay, because that would be number 4. And in the rule of 3, it never makes it to me in the first place because you should have gotten the answer in these 3 things. And if it ever does make it to me, because we have a one-on-one, then I know that you exhausted all 3 of these options. So when you come to me, I'm not resenting you. I'm not pissed. I'm not mad because I know that you did everything in your power to figure this out before you did come to me. And it's something I exercise all the time. So if someone on my team, after a meeting, drops in a question like, hey guys, when's the release date? I'm going to say, hey, rule of 3. Or hey, go watch the recording. And so you as a CEO need to have like more discipline and discernment to follow the boundaries that you're setting for yourself. Otherwise, of course, you're going to be pissed and resent your team because every time they ask something of you, you just answer and respond. Stop doing that shit. All right, next on the list. Again, I didn't mean to make this so long, but like here we are. And I'm just going to keep going. So hopefully you're still here. All right. Now, something else that has helped me build a successful business has been teaching my team the words to associate to my business. So like I just said with talking about the core values are something that I'll continuously reinstill and recommunicate to my team on like even like a quarterly basis or like randomly on some calls when I start to see that our team is maybe lacking some collaborative autonomy or the speed is very low. Guess what? On our Kickstarter call that week, it'll be something where I'll bring up our core values just to reinstill them, just to recommunicate, hey guys, speed is king. As a reminder, XYZ. You can't just state when you hire someone one time, hey, here are our core values, bye. You need to continue to embody them and recommunicate them as you're working with people. It's really important you do this. So your goal here is to start to teach your team the words you want associated to your business and brand. And the only way you can do this is through repetition. So that's another note. Now, when it comes to promotions, right? Promotions, people want pay increases, salary increases, things like that. Over the years when I've worked with people, I know in corporate, a lot of people, what they do is they give you a yearly salary. They increase your yearly salary every single year by about 5%. And then you get like a performance-based bonus at the end of the year. Might be a little taboo. I don't know who's watching this video, but this is the way that I do things. I do not wait to the end of the year to increase salary. If roles, especially in a small business, as things are changing and growing, if someone starts taking on more roles and responsibilities, I will increase their salary over time throughout the year. And I do this very differently. I don't immediately increase their salary. What I'll start doing is I will give people their typical salary, like their base pay, and then I will provide them with a performance-based bonus on a month-to-month basis based off of their ability to execute the new roles and responsibility. Keyword on execution. At some point when that becomes consistent enough is when I'll make the full jump to increase their salary. I don't always do this because my biggest fear is ever increasing someone's salary where they're not consistent, where I have to then decrease that. That discourages people. So I only increase salaries once I feel like their performance-based bonus is a consistent thing over like 6 months. It's just through and through again. They're doing the roles and responsibilities well. They're executing. That's when I'll take a little jump and increase their salary straight away. And what I also love to do with my team is create incentives where I do offer performance-based bonuses randomly month to month. I do not wait until the end of the year to give someone a 5% bonus of their yearly salary. I will provide those throughout the year randomly. And it's not all the time. So like just because I gave you a bonus last month doesn't mean you get one this month. It's really just in moments to just show you that I see you and I want you to know that. And it could be simple, like very, very small amounts, like $100 here and there or $200 here and there, like something that just makes you know that I see you. Sometimes it could be like $1,000. Like it really does depend on the person and the role that I'm talking about. But that's kind of an atypical thing that might be a little bit taboo, but it's the way that I do things in my business. And my team really appreciates me. It really appreciates me for that. Has given me a lot of feedback about that. And it's been going well so far. Now, when it comes to these bonuses and payouts and promotions, when someone comes to you in your business and they say, well, I want to make more money, I will say, okay, cool. Like, what do you think warrants you making more money? Well, like, I feel like I'm working really hard and like, that's why. In my company, I don't pay for effort. I pay for execution. So execution over effort. And if you want a promotion or you want to start taking on bigger roles, bigger responsibilities, then start doing those things first. Don't expect to be paid for something that you don't know yet how to truly do until you actually start doing it. So I always say this, like, to my team and to people in general, like, if you're wanting to make more money, start doing the thing that you want to make more money for, because the business owner will start recognizing this. Or if you do go to them because the business owner doesn't recognize it, you can share with them a history of all the work that you have done that is not required in your role to be like, well, over the last several months, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, which then will warrant a raise. I'll be like, you know what? You're right. Like, the proof is there. But if you're just coming to someone and like, oh, I just want a promotion. I want to get paid more. It's like, for what? Right? So on my team, I pay for execution over effort. If you want to level up and be in a different role and make more, start doing some of those things when we meet on our one-on-ones. If I don't bring it to you, which I should, because our one-on-ones and our team calls are set up in a way to literally be able to see positive feedback every other week, then I'm going to know, like, fuck, I really got to pay this person more because they're like really fucking killing it. Like that's what it does. Like, it literally puts it in your face. Like, oh, I have to do this. Okay. So execution over effort. Another note that I have here is not that I look at my team as kids, but I'm going to use this analogy. Kids mirror what they see, not what you say. Okay. This is like so important. Okay. Because when you guys are like, oh, like, I've been running team meetings and everyone's showing up late. Well, if you are showing up late every single team meeting, your team is just following your leads. This is what I was mentioning earlier about like leading by example. If your team is showing up looking like shit, if they're showing up late, if they don't know how to frame calls properly, if they don't know how to agenda set properly, if they don't know how to run a meeting properly, all of this is led by you. So it's important that you show up first how you want your team to show up, which I know is frustrating and annoying because as a business owner, sometimes you're like, fuck, I just want to break. I just want to chill. Like, I just don't want to have to always be put together, which I hear you. Like, I feel the same way too. But if I want my team to operate a certain way, I have to show up like that first. So think about that right now with your business. If everyone's showing up late or unprofessional, go ahead and look at yourself first. Another random topic I'm going to talk about is micro-labeling. Micro-labeling is really important because you want your team to feel valued. I don't know about you, but if you ever have hired anyone and they just feel like, oh my God, like Lo is the boss, like they just see you and they put you on this pedestal and, you know, they maybe feel like shit or don't feel valued, it's because of the way that you're not micro-labeling your team properly. So things that I do with my team as a way to pass off responsibility to them is through micro-labeling, which is such a great technique. Like, it's not just a way to make them feel better about themselves, but it's also a way to like share responsibility. So I don't refer to my team as employees. I refer to them as thought leaders. So when I'm having a conversation, I'll be like, yeah, like as a thought leader, what do you think about XYZ? Or as a thought leader, when you see this problem, what would you want to do? As a thought leader, you're leading in your own thoughts, right? So a thought leader is one that I use. As an authority figure is another one. And then I refer to my team as team members. Like even when I'm filming content, I don't refer to my team as employees. They watch my content. So if I'm shitting on my employees in my content, which sometimes in my content we'll talk about this, but that's a strategic thing that my actual team will do for certain lessons that we want to get through. But other than that, I refer to my team as team members, authority figures, and as thought leaders. And this way, again, like they understand I view them as such versus just like my employees. Okay. This one is going to be an interesting one. This might be a little controversial, but I have this like mechanism that I utilize in my business so that my team doesn't always look at mommy Lo and is always like, mommy, like Lo, I need help. They look at me and they're like, okay, Lo and Lauren. So I call this like CEO and entrepreneur separation. The reason I say this is because when you're running a small business, when you are a true business owner, okay, so we talk about Rob, right, in his money quadrant. When you're a true business owner, you are managing people, processes, and systems. When you're an entrepreneur, you are an employee of your own business. So a lot of us think that we're running businesses, and we're not like an entrepreneur. I'm still an entrepreneur in my business, okay? I'm not doing hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm doing millions of dollars a year, which is great, but it's not hard to do. Like it doesn't require a lot. It's not as difficult as everyone says or makes it out to be, okay? Which means there's CEO Lo, and then there's entrepreneur Lauren. And those are two different people, and I create the separation, and I do this for my team too because I want them to know, as someone who I still have to facilitate, I still have to work with clients, I still have to create the vision of where we're going. I also have to, which is like the leader part of me, I also have to create content and market. Like those are, and I have to do sales. Like these are still things that I'm actively doing in my business as a way to support it, right? Yes, I have a closer. Yes, I have people who do other things, but these are my geniuses. This is the stuff I'm good at. So for my team, we separate Lo and Lauren. Everyone works for Lo. Like Lo, baby Lo is the brand. Like that's what you guys see online. Not that I'm a different person, but I'm just sharing like brand wise, the business, what we're doing, the money and all that sort of stuff. That's Lo. When I'm getting on a team call with my social media team to go through content, I'm Lauren. Lauren has to film content. Lauren has to produce the content and get it to the team so they can edit it. The editing team has to now edit it. So we have Julia and Megan. They have to edit it and get it out. And us collectively have to think about the marketing strategy behind what we're doing, the ICP that we want to speak to, how often we're posting, the cadences, the narrative, the story, the brand, the business, the CTAs, the offers, all of it. Like that's what we're collaborating on, is all those things. So on that meeting, it's Lauren, Julia, and Megan. It's not Lo. Lo might feature on that call sometimes because we're talking about maybe the vision of the brand, right? Like guys, collectively, like, are we hitting this mark? But Lauren is on that call, and I am an entrepreneur in my business. I'm an employee of my own business because I still have jobs that I have to do. And it's important to do this because when I meet with my operations team, and I meet with my sales team, and I meet with my social team, right? And we meet with the automations, like I meet with every team, I need them to know that like Lo, like we all work for Lo. We all work for her. So what does Lauren need to do? What are my daily tasks, my individual things that I need to do to make sure that Low is pushing the brand that way, that the way that we should, the business is being pushed the way that it should. And so every person then gets on the call and understands like everyone's role. Because I think sometimes you get on calls with your team and they're all yes men. They want to please you. They want to make sure that, everything is okay. You're the boss. So they're scared to say things. They're scared to push the limits. They're scared to challenge. But that means that you're only functioning your business off of one brain, which is your own. And the whole point of hiring other people is to share brain power. If your brain is the only brain that's operating your business, you will not grow because you can't grow beyond your own restraints or your own restrictions. Like your ceiling is your own ceiling. This is why you hire people. It's so that someone else has more ideas, better ideas, and knows how to execute things better than you do in different areas. So I know my areas of genius, but I also know where my areas of genius are not. And I also know where my limitations are. So I don't want my team getting on calls with me just like, okay, boss, what do we do? No. When I get on these team calls, they are responsible for running it. Julia and Megan speak throughout the whole social media call. There's some calls I will get on as Lauren, who's also an employee of the business, who will be like, hey, here are some ideas, X, Y, Z. But Jazz is responsible for leading. Jalen is responsible for leading. Megan and Julia are responsible for leading. Brittany is responsible for leading. Like Isabel's responsible for leading. They're responsible for being thought leaders to run these calls. And that way they're just not looking at me like, okay, what do I do now? It's like, I don't fucking know. You're the expert in your space. I don't know how to set up JSON and fucking automate. That's not my job. Like I know enough about it, but I don't know it like you do. Right? So that's a big one. And the last point I'll make, because this video is getting so long, again, didn't mean to get this crazy, is specifically on hiring. Okay? Because I know that this one is a pain for a lot of you guys. So let's get into some notes about hiring. Number one, the biggest mistake that business owners make when it comes to hiring is thinking that people are responsible for selling us on why we should hire them, when it is equally as important for you as the CEO to sell this person on your business and why they should want to work for you. It is equally as important, and it's the number one reason why people end up leaving companies. Okay, I'm going to re-say this to you. We make people sell us on why we should hire them when it's your job to sell people on why they should want to work for you. It's an equal trade. There's a symbiotic. This is a symbiotic relationship. It's mutually beneficial. Because if someone just has to come to you and has to convince you why you should hire them, they also need to know that their future career and the opportunity that they're looking for and the life they want to build is something that you're putting into consideration when you're hiring them. Otherwise, you're going to get a bunch of short-term people who want to constantly work for you and then leave, and then constantly work for you and leave. That churn for hiring is going to be so high because you never sold them and showed them what their future could look like in your business, and how opportunity could be there for them that goes beyond the initial opportunity that they're coming in for. So that's a big one. Second rule when it comes to hiring is no hype hires. Especially if you are in the online space, you have an organic audience that's pretty big, you're going to get a lot of people that want to work for you. Okay? And I always tell people this. I'm like, you don't want to work for Lo. Like, you think you do. And there's an idea that you think you have in mind of who I am. This preconceived notion of like, oh, Lo must be so fucking cool. Like, she's so direct, straight to the point, black hat energy. Like, wow, like, so bold. You describe all the amazing things about me. Yeah, I am direct. I am straight to the point. I am very bold. I move very fast. I am very critical, very intentional. All those things that are good can also make me equally as, not bad, but equally as troublesome or hard to work for. So when you have that positive vision of what you think someone is, you also have to know that that's exactly what I'm going to bring into the business. When I'm hiring someone, those things also stay true to what they looked like at first. So no hype hires, people that just want to like be in your space, want to learn from you, want to grow from you. Yeah, no. Okay, we're not doing that. We have like a 3-4 step hiring process. Like, they don't even see me until they've met with 3 people on my team. Because that's the thing we look for, is like that right there. Another thing you want to look out for when it comes to hiring is that I don't want to hire anyone who's looking to build their own business. I think we see that as like, oh, that's cool. Someone who's really entrepreneurial of that mindset. But if someone actively is coming in and wants to build their own thing and they make that clear, I'm going to celebrate that for them. I'm going to say, listen, I love that you want to go in this direction of doing X, Y, Z. I think you should just go do it. I think you should just like run with it. I'm going to encourage them to do that. That is not going to be someone that I'm going to hire. No way. No shot. Because if I know that that's your goal, I know at some point everything that we're building is just going to go off. And it has nothing to do with competition. Like, I love that for you. And I think that's great. And if someone in my business at some point wants to go build their own thing, I get that. But if you're coming into my business and that's the first thing that I'm learning about you, I'm not hiring you for that. I want people who are okay knowing that, like, our business, like Silver but Gold, Sales Daddy, like my business is the star. Like, that's the star, and you want to be a team player. You know you don't want to build your own thing right now, at least. It's not like at the forefront of your mind. You want to be a part of a team. You want to collaborate in that way. I need a collaborator. I don't need a superstar. And it's important that when you're hiring someone, you ask questions around that so you're not wasting your time. Some examples I'll give you of this too is like I will give people some scenarios, for instance, like when you guys are hiring people, it's important to give them scenarios to figure out like if someone's going to be a good fit. So I'll give them a scenario. I want them to like troubleshoot. I'll be like, hey, so right now the page has a viewership of X amount of views right now, and that's 30% down from last month. What do you do? So I'm going to give someone a scenario and say, like, what would you do here, to see how they troubleshoot and problem solve it, to see if it's kind of on par with what I'm thinking. It helps me to understand how they think. I'm really big on understanding how my team thinks. So sometimes I'll give them scenarios and pass back questions to them. Like, I don't just answer my team's questions. When they ask questions, when they're like, hey, Lo, what do you think I should do with this? I'll be like, what do you think? I always pass it off. Always pass it back to them. So this is another example where I'll give them a scenario and say, build out this scenario for me. And if it's on par, then I'm like, all right, cool. Another thing that I'll do is like giving you an example when it comes to like content. Those of you guys who are having a hard time hiring like a good social media team, or you're like trying to hire agencies, don't hire an agency. Find someone who wants to do this. Their skill might be like mediocre, but like their character is great. You can teach them how to do this. This shit's fucking easy. It's not hard. Find someone though who's really down for you, down for the business, down for collaborating. Like they want to be a collaborator. They don't want to be the superstar. And teach them the fucking skill set. Super easy. Or hire a mentor and have them teach them. It's super fucking simple. But when you are getting someone who you want to get for content, I want you to send them two videos, and I want you to say, I want you to edit it. Go look at my page, and I want you to edit these videos based off that. That's it. It's the easiest way to hire a social media team, hands down. So hope that's helpful for you. A couple other random notes. Hire B players and train them to be A players. Or be willing to hire an A player and be willing to shell out some money first. So I always tell people it's going to cost you time or money. When it comes to hiring, if you want to save time, hire the A player. If you want to save money or don't have the capital, hire the B player with the potential to be an A player and teach them. And then how do you keep the A players when you get them, right? Like when you build the B player up to an A player or you get the A player in, some things to think about is that A player is not always worried about money, okay? A players want more than the money. It's not just about you being like, oh, I'll increase your salary, I'll pay you more. Like that's one part of it. The other thing that A players want is they want autonomy, they want agency, they need a place for feedback, so always creating a space for feedback because they like to, not like know it all, but they like to know that they're building to something. They want to know that their opinion actually matters, okay? So that's important. They will quit if they don't see their future in your business. So if they cannot see their future career or they get bored, they're not being challenged, you need to create spaces for them to do that. Giving them individual projects for themselves, having them build out like what they would do instead of you taking it on and then leading them. That's a really big one. And a big reason why A players leave is that they just don't feel seen or heard. Again, they like to be able to have a voice and they like to be able to share their perspectives. And the last note I have for you here is this. The team you start with will not always be the team that you end with. More likely than not, it's probably not going to be the team you end with. And that's a hard truth to swallow because people you start with, it's like, man, so nostalgic. It's like, we really built this thing. We really did this thing. Like, I felt like, you know, we really had like this amazing like culture and thing that we built together, and it's so amazing. And I agree. But as you're building and as you're growing and as you're scaling, as you're leveling up as a CEO, it's your responsibility to level up before the rest of your team. And I'm always doing this about every 6 months or so. I kind of like shed a new skin and my team will see me literally level up. Like, I don't know if you guys watch the anime Solo Leveling, but I recently watched that, and you just see this guy. He's just fucking leveling up, like leveling up, leveling up, leveling up, and everyone else around him is like, "Damn, I want to be at that point. I want to be able to fight next to him. I want to stay next to him." And it challenges them to level up. So, me and Jazz, very intimate level. Jazz has been with me now for 5 years. We had a really hard conversation like 2 years ago, where I almost had to fire her, and it was because I was exceeding like where my mind was and where I was going was so much further that I needed her to catch up, and she was falling behind. And I'm like, dude, you either need to hire a mentor to learn this skill set, or we need to work on this, but you need to if you want to be here, you have to commit to this. And she did. And she leveled up tremendously, like is now literally killing it in the role that she's in. Because she was another person who wanted like the next thing, wanted to be at the next level. And I'm like, I can't pay for your inability to not execute on the thing that you want to get paid for. Like, you got to learn that shit and execute it first before I can be like, yeah, you can be CSM. Like, you got to know CSM. You got to figure it out. You got to hire somebody. You got to do something. And when I was leveling up like this, like everyone on my team was seeing it. And that's when fires happen. That's when I had to hire new people. And it happens every 6 months for me, where something bigger and better is happening, because I'm constantly investing in my personal growth, my business development, my assets, my skill sets. Like, I am constantly doing that. And it becomes so apparent. Like, people on my team start feeling alienated. I don't have to even say anything. They'll start just seeing, like, weaning themselves out, knowing that they can't keep up. So it's one of those things where the team you're starting with is usually not going to be the one you finish with, which is really sad. But you can be like Jazz and keep leveling up and have people on your team who want to do that, as long as you can present them the opportunity to do it. If they can match the energy, we love that. But if they can't, then we got to bring someone in. So this video ended up being a lot longer than I had anticipated, but I hope it was valuable. This was just all the notes I had just off the top of my head. I just wrote down really quickly on what it is I do to build a really successful team that's helped me to generate millions of dollars. One that has built a team where it feels so good. Everyone here feels like they're in charge of their role, and we can work together collectively, but also still know that we can be the bosses in our position. I don't know. I feel like that's a great space to be in. So hope you found this video valuable. And I'd love for you guys to like it, share it, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Comment down below to give me feedback. If we like more videos like this, I will definitely film more of these. And yeah, I still don't have a sign off yet. So if you guys have any ideas for a sign off, that'd be great. Like, here's the lowdown, or like, that was the lowdown. That's the lowdown. That's the lowdown. I don't know. Hope this was helpful, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.